Yo, we back. Do not shoot the messenger. I know a lot of y'all will not like the messenger, but that does not mean that the message isn't valid. Just listen to what Cardi B is saying. She actually cooked on this one, in my opinion.
And this is the shit that be fucking pissing me the fuck off about y'all. Let me tell you something. Y'all know last year, I was not voting for nobody. I was not voting for nobody because I didn't like how the Democrats, like, they was funding wars and shit like that. I ain't fucking like that shit. But then I talked to Kamala and them, and she had a whole different type of fucking agenda. And I'm like, you sure you're not with that shit? She was like, yeah, I mean, I know I'm vice president, but I don't really got a lot to say so. But this is my plan. So I was like, bitch, I fucks with ya. I really, really fucks with ya. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to support. Whatever I have to do, I'm going to support. And then y'all was so worried about me doing the speech and me fucking, my teleprompter wasn't working. And then it's like, oh my God, it's so bad that she got to read. Bitch, you saw all that shit that I had to motherfucking say, bitch. I had to write that shit the fuck down. What the fuck is you talking about? I was talking in front of thousands of people. I had to write that shit down. And my teleprompter wasn't working. Y'all was so worried about me saying Donald Trump. Y'all was worried about me saying Donald Trump and me fucking, and my teleprompter not fucking working, that y'all missed the message. And this is what I was trying to say. Now look, right? Donald Trump was never for y'all poor motherfuckers. Donald Trump was never for the poor people, for the white poors, for the black poors, for the Spanish poor, for the Asians, for the Indians. He don't give a fuck about none of y'all motherfuckers. And guess what? When I talk about poor, I'm not only talking about poor people that's under poverty. To him, even millionaires are poor. He don't give a fuck about the millionaires like me neither. So here I am to say, right? Dictators always find an excuse to blame people for America's downfall. Which, how many fucking immigrants have he deported? So now that the immigrants are deported, who are we blaming for the fact that we're practically going in a recession? We don't even have fucking food stamps. Not we, y'all. We don't even.
Whoa, let me cut her off right there. You heard that, right? She had to correct it. Ain't no we, it's y'all. And it kind of reminds me of Shaq, when Shaq's kid said, Daddy, we rich. Ain't no we, I'm rich. And here's the thing, right? People will argue left, right. I've said, if anybody's been here since day one, I always said, I don't care who the president is. What matters? Getting fucking rich. You hear Democrats say, let's tax the rich. You hear or you see Republicans give tax breaks to the rich. Do you really think that rich people will impose or put more taxes on themselves? It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't matter who the president is. If you're rich, you will be fine. You will be great. Look at, let's just say, for example, the S&P 500, and this is statistically, this is facts, performs better under Democratic leadership. Who owns the majority of the stock? The 1%. If we fast forward to today, where you have the S&P 500 and some of these stocks at all-time highs, who's making the most money off of that shit? The 1%. You know, Donald Trump has said over and over, the way he looks at the economy as doing well is he measures that based on how well the stock market is doing. The average American does not own a stock or own stocks, nor do they have enough money in the stock market for it to be life-changing. That is a 1% gain. Like she said, ain't no we, it's y'all. Y'all got the problem. Y'all do. That's why even him, he going around the world, you know, chilling, going to, I think he's in Asia right now, if I'm not mistaken, just doing different things, not even worried about the government shutdown. Ain't no we, it's y'all. I'm rich. Y'all got a problem. And like I've said previously, you know, right now on the internet, with the sentiment is black versus white. White people and black people are bumping heads. When really both of y'all are on the same sinking ship. Both of y'all are fucked up for real. And, by the time you all are sinking to the bottom of the ocean, you're going to look up and the foreigners are going to be the ones with the most of the money. Even if you look at the top companies, right, that are really carrying the S&P 500, who owns and runs those companies? Foreigners, not Americans. So people really got the game twisted. In the economy right now, right now, there's two different economies. Two, you are either thriving or you're suffering. There is no in between. You're either thriving or you're suffering, right? They don't care about gas prices, the prices of bread, the prices of flights, the prices of anything, because it doesn't matter. They have the money and then they have the assets, right? Because of inflation, your dollar stretches less, right? So they have the assets that boost the amount of boost their spending power. They own a lot of the homes, the commercial properties, the real estate, the stocks, right? They're good. The 1%. I said that from get-go. Make you some fucking money. Like, stop wasting your time. People just all over the world all over the United States are arguing with each other over left and right, when it doesn't matter who the president is. Now, there may be certain policies that may slightly affect you, but if you have money, you're not going to be as affected as somebody that is at the bottom, right? You have, I think it's like 40 million people that are going to have food scarcity, or that aren't going to get access to these benefits. That's the bottom. These people don't give a fuck. They'll be able to go to Whole Foods and fill their basket up. They're still going to have private chefs. They're still going to travel, right? And eat at the finest restaurants, at the finest resorts, where the bottom half of the economy can't even afford to even go. You won't even see these people. They're staying in a penthouse up in the clouds next to God, and you're at the bottom suffering in hell, right? Heaven and hell are both on earth. It's just all on which one you decide that you want to live and burn or shine in, right? This is all, and again, I know that there are some socioeconomic or some economic disadvantages that certain groups have. Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, we have been freed, right? I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but the white man lost control of America when the internet came out. They gave niggas like me the internet, and we busting down millions off of this thing. Millions. I haven't had a job in a long time. My son is 13. I haven't had a job in 10 years, or a little bit over 10 years. Because I understand where this thing is going. And this is a white man that said this. A white man said, who was Gary V. I think he's Italian, but he's still white. And he said, yeah, the white man lost control of the world when the internet came out. And he wasn't lying. So you can use tools like this to put yourself in the 1%. Just use the tools that are available. A cell phone is free. This shit free. This shit is free. Free 99, right? I mean, of course, you got to pay for the cell phone, but the internet itself is free. You can literally go to a library. If you have a cell phone, you don't have cell phone service, you can go to Starbucks, buy some water, use their Wi-Fi. This shit is free. And these people have an understanding of that. So to them, there are no excuses. It's not like where if you had to start a business back in the day where it was brick and mortar. We saw Blockbuster get shut down by Netflix. And soon Netflix will be shut down, right? And this is all because of the streaming, all because of the internet. I know for a fact that Netflix is going to be out of here. I know for a fact that Disney is going to be out of here. Why is that? Look at the younger kids. My kids don't watch TV. They watch YouTube, right? So you got to kind of understand. And I'm not saying that everybody should become a YouTuber, right? But what I'm saying is that there are better opportunities now than there was in the 90s. Way better, right? The people that you see monetizing the internet, those are going to be the next billionaires. Like, your Mr. Beast. And then, of course, you're going to have the trickle down effect. People that are making less money, right? I make good money off the internet. And I'm able to more than provide. I don't have to worry about Snap and all of these things. And again, this isn't from a place of arrogance. Okay, this is just facts. I actually read. Okay, I don't just consume, content mindlessly and doom scroll on the internet. These things are available to you. In this day and age right now, you don't have to be poor. You don't have to be on Snap. You don't have to be on Section 8. Now, you need the information in order to be able to get to the next level. But now today, you have choices. I was born in 1987. I grew up in the 90s. It was totally different. You had to have actual capital to start a business. You had to have real capital in order to open up a brick and mortar business. Today, you don't need capital because everything's digitized. It's just all on what you do with your digital footprint, right? And this is a part of why Americans are kind of down the shitter right now. And she's exactly right. Ain't no we, it's y'all. It's y'all. You're the problem. Y'all are the problem. And I hate to be so cutthroat like that. And I know you all don't like the messenger, but that's the message. That's the message. It's only about rich people. And, I talked about that from the Defense Council, that document that I had showed in my last video, where it talked about this. They said this in 2020, 5 years ago. Like, hey, as the closer we get to 2030, this is what's going to happen. Scarcity in food. The people aren't going to trust the government. AI is going to take your jobs. They talked about all of this stuff in 2020. They talked about it in 2020. They told you. And most people didn't do anything about it. Most people aren't going to act on it. And it is what it is. And like I said, when you look at these conversations on X and, people arguing on Facebook, and when you see people arguing on Threads and all these different apps and Instagram and TikTok, it's poor people arguing with poor people. That's what it's just. It is what it is. You're not going to see nobody rich come from the clouds, out of their penthouse in the clouds next to God, and come down to get dirty with y'all. It is what it is. So you got a choice. You're either going to be on that side or that side. And it's not a left or right type of thing. It's you're either going to get rich or you're not. And if you choose not to, don't complain about it. And that's just real.